Welcome back to MCP videos. We are back with Mephisto after a little bit of Shatterpoint break. I'm gonna have to re-record voice-over for Chewy because somehow I recorded my entire painting without the voice. But now we're gonna go to Mephisto and it's gonna be fun miniature. A lot of red we're gonna be putting on it. Fun fact, I got MCP because I wanted to stop painting red because I was doing Warhammer Age of Sigmar Gloomspite Get Squid army, so I've literally been painting all red. So we're back to my most familiar color and I'll show you this in a second. So like always, we're gonna start with base color. So in this case it's gonna be Mephisto red. So all the skin parts we want to do as Mephisto red. So to be honest, I'm gonna apply it over almost entire miniature. I don't want to deal with, figure out exactly quickly what's gonna be. So we're gonna apply it over the entire thing and we'll go from there. This is mostly for starting. We're gonna start with skin. We're gonna do complete skin because it's gonna involve dry brushing, and then we're gonna go to the rest. So you can see red applied. I also applied the flames. You see we're gonna be dry brushing a lot on this miniature, and compared to what I typically do, you need to be careful with dry brushing. It spreads like a particle, so you would have to clean it up, and I like to do that first. So we're gonna dry brush the flames and we're gonna dry brush the skin, and after that we're gonna do all other things like a cape and the pink clothing and so on. So compared to other times, we're gonna apply our shade right away. So we're gonna go over all this section. Don't worry about going somewhere outside of his skin. We're gonna be coming back to this. So be generous to get all these grooves in. So all this skin tones, everything can be visible. Hands, and face. With dry brushing, we're gonna make an effect of skin. It looks amazing with reds. It comes out to be easiest technique, and I got this from painting Gits. It's a lot. It comes like scaly, like very skinny, and you'll see the effect in a second. It's really fun technique to do. So you can see him fully shaded. That's the red. Shade also the bottom of the flames. So just quickly go through this. And then we're gonna move to dry brushing. Next step, we're gonna do the skin, which is gonna involve dry brushing. So you apply the paint, you make sure your brush is really dry, and test it on yours to see if there is too much going on. And then we're gonna go and quickly and generously apply over the entire skin. We want all these grooves, everything coming up. Pick one direction, so the light is gonna fall the same way. But you apply over this entire face and chest. It's gonna give nice, good contrast, and it's gonna pop all these details. Same as we did with Sunspot. The red is pretty cool to dry brush on, with flames especially. But you can see already probably all the details popping right away. Like if you ever want to do a quick army, you can pick red color, dry brush it, and it's gonna give you awesome textures. Especially if you do something like demons with skin. So you can see all the details on his skin popping up. Like dry brush, and then we're gonna just highlight it again to make it even stand out more. But that's his skin, and you can see the skin texture, which is not that uniform color, and it's gonna look very cool once the miniature is completed. And you do the same thing for all the flames. So you want to dry brush the entire bottom of the base, and then you're gonna move to yellow, and that's gonna be the flame of the base. So the next dry brush is just yellow. You're gonna go just over the flames to make it pop even lighter at some edges. Don't go over everything, just pick few of them to make it pop, and go a little bit lightly. That's gonna make it look like a flame is coming from something. See, so it starts looking something like this. So it's much nicer. You can see the flame sticking up on the top. It's going that yellowish hue, and it looks awesome. Oh, don't forget about that small one on the side there. So now we're gonna move on to painting his pants. I'm gonna try Screamer Pink. It's supposed to be different reddish color, but I think it's a little bit pinkish in there. So I kinda like the idea of trying to do pink and then apply red shade. That should make it deeper red, and then we're not gonna re-highlight it, we're gonna just apply a little bit of few highlights here and there. So once you apply this red to the bottom and to the arm wraps, be careful not to go over the skin, then that bottom portion will be completed. So you can see I added the Screamer Pink to his pants and his arm wraps. Kinda looks a little bit more pinkish than I was hoping for. I hope the red shade is gonna make it really like tone it down, because otherwise I'm gonna have to repaint it. But for now I think I'll keep it, and I'm gonna move to the cape. So we're back to Mephisto Red, and we're gonna start with the cape. This is only gonna be applied to the cape, so you go over and you go over this entire cape of the miniature, just so you'll see the contrast next to the skin, right? You can see it's gonna be completely different tone once we highlight it compared to the skin tone, which is gonna be a flash. So it's gonna give you that a little bit of a contrast between skin and the cape. So you can see we're done with the cape. It looks awesome right now. All the red on him is really Mephisto. I kinda digging the pink right now. I think it's gonna make a cool mix once the shades are applied. I think now this is making him like stand out, like this is the Lord of the Hell. And the only thing on the miniature left right now is doing his hair. So we're gonna go with darker shade of red. So we're gonna take corn red and we're gonna apply it to all the hair. So that's a different shade of red, a little bit darker. And once we apply it everywhere, I'll show you on the hair. You can see darker hair now applied to his face, and we're gonna go over the shade, which is gonna make it even darker. And he already looks beautiful. I already put him on the table, but we're gonna do a little bit more work on him because I kinda dig this miniature now. So we're gonna take red shade right now again, and we're gonna start reapplying it to the pink areas to make it darker. Just don't be careful not to go over the skin. And we're gonna reapply it over the cloak and the hair. Be careful not to go over the face. And once we have that applied, we'll take a look how it looks like. Okay, so you can see everything shaded. So the pink came out exactly how I wanted. So now it's much darker and, you know, coming into those red tones. So it's also distinguishes from the red, which is awesome. And at the same time the cape looks awesome. It's much darker. The flames are standing out much nicer on him. And in a second we're gonna highlight the cape, and then we're gonna highlight his muscles and then a little bit of the pants. Okay, so we're gonna go back to doing the cape now after we shaded this. So like always, you're gonna bring up all the raised parts and you're gonna paint over them with the Mephisto red. So something like this, just gonna give you that nice smooth edges over it. Same thing right there. So you can see the groove, and you're gonna continue that over the entire miniature, and that's gonna give you that different tone in the creases. And I'll show you in a second. So you can see the cape on Mephisto is covered up again, and it looks awesome with the miniature. Now we're gonna do some highlights, but we're gonna first start with hair. So we're gonna move to corn red now. We're gonna take corn red and we're gonna do small brush strokes over the hair to imitate the hairlines, like right there on the edge of this. I just did, and once you do that over everything, it's gonna look like hair. So you can see individual strands of hair on top of his hair and on the sides. And now we're gonna go for the biggest highlight. We're gonna start going into cloak and muscles. So we're gonna highlight the cloak. So we're gonna take Evil Sun Scarlet. This is a lot of reds on this miniature. And we're gonna start making 10 lines. So all these raised parts where you can see edges, we're gonna highlight over it to create something like this. So you can see lighter edge, same thing right here. And that's gonna create that effect of the cloak of different color. And I'll show you in a second. So we went over the edges, so you can see slightly lighter color. It imitates folding on the clothing. And now we're gonna move to muscles, to another red. So the last part of highlights is going over the muscles. So for example, we're gonna go over all the ribs. And the stomach muscles. Something like this. You can start seeing them. And I'll show you complete in a second. You go over all the muscles, fingers, to give, you know, those line edges, and it's gonna make a miniature pop. So you can see his face and muscles highlighted, so it sticks out a lot more. And we're gonna go and do last highlight before doing the base, and that will be just on the cloth. So last color that we're gonna apply to this one is gonna be just over. I'm not gonna do highlights, maybe a little bit over like few things, but few folds on the cloth. But I don't want to do too much highlights on the pants because it's gonna look too bright. So you mostly is gonna go over. You're mostly gonna go over the folds, like a little bit more paint right there. This tabard piece, this tabard section that we're gonna highlight, so it's gonna be stand out and, you know, pop those folds. So you can see the front is highlighted and it looks awesome. I really dig the pink on him. And I think now we're gonna paint the base, and we're done. So I'll show you the final results. Like always on MCP, I'm not gonna show you painting the base. It's gonna be standard mechanical standard gray over the entire thing, and that's it. As you can see, I'm done with the base, and the miniature looks awesome. I think I might try playing Mephisto in MCP. It might be fun for a few games. We'll see. I'll see you with the next miniature, and have a great day.